right?
That's why I'm a big believer in having your own thing too, man. Like you can't come to the relationship and then blend your shit together. Like there's no like then you lose
1000%.
touch of who each other
Who
are
you are.
because here's the thing. The reason why you guys got together or your friends got together is because of those individualities and those
Yes.
characteristics that you like so much.
The number one thing is finding obviously your own person and who you are, who you're happy to be. Is a huge thing. And then you can combine that with somebody else, and you can be happy together. It doesn't work in a way where being with this person, she will make me happy,
Yes.
or he will make me happy if I'm. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. If you're not happy on your own, if you're not happy with yourself, believe me, you're probably not going to be happy with another person. Are you currently involved in a relationship where things aren't the same anymore?
I feel like the energy is not as cohesive as it used to be.
If so, then you might want to be listening to this because these are signs that you are ready to end a relationship.
Welcome. You're watching the Behind the Strength podcast, where we strengthen your health, wealth, and peace of mind. My name is Carlo Bellagase.
I'm Christian.
Thank you for joining us today.
We're going to be talking about, the signs or not knowing the signs of ending your relationship. If you've currently been in your head and thinking about, man, is this still for me? Be it your boyfriend, your girlfriend, man, this could be about a marriage. There's a lot of people that internalize these things and they really don't know the signs. Like, is it ready to be over? Is it,
As you know, we're entrepreneurs. We started this business in 2011. And as you grow a business, anyone who's an entrepreneur knows this, or whoever is going through a big change in their life through the 7 years or 8 years that we've been doing this, we've lost a lot of friends, made a lot of friends, and went through a lot of these internal conflicts as well because us, especially me, I don't like losing friendships or relationships, and it's hard. But as you start to realize certain things and certain characteristics, I started becoming okay with kind of pushing these to the side.
Myself, I recall like through the growing years, I have this thing in my head that I gotta grow, so you gotta go.
Yeah.
And it's nothing insulting or it's nothing offensive. Point is that people will be in each other's lives for a certain stage or for a certain phase, and sometimes that you just can't keep everybody in your life. Particularly, I'm referring to particularly relationships and not just about friendships.
Intimate relationships.
Yeah, because you know what? Especially in our growing years, how many times have we been in and lost relationships because you're going one way and the other person's going the other way, or you know what? Your visions do not match at all anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're kind of just there because of comfort. And we know that there is a lot of people who stay with their significant other, who stay with their, same group of friends out of sheer comfort.
That snapshot of those happiest
What
moments.
used to be.
What used to be.
Yes.
You kind of use that as a reference throughout the relationship. And I think that's the dangerous part, because if you're using a past moment as a reference in the relationship and it gets further and further along, that gap between who you wanted to be and who you are with is significantly getting bigger.
Of course. Today we're going to talk about some signs of a relationship going downhill, and how to go about ending it, or should we end it, right?
I mean, to stay with somebody because of, again, the past feelings that you had for somebody, and then holding on to it because of hope that it'll come back, without actually identifying that this is happening. I think the biggest thing is identifying that this is happening when you realize, like, holy shit, out of nowhere, fuck, I don't think I love this person anymore in that way.
Yes, and that is, a lot of this has to do with being honest with yourself. I think first and foremost today, the biggest thing that has to happen is a person has to just be honest with their own self. Forget anybody else first. You have to decide, am I still in love with this person, or do I still have love for them? Number two, you do everything you can to not spend time with each other. Holy
Avoidance.
crap. Avoidance.
Yeah.
Which means you're doing your own thing. He does his own thing.
You know what? I must admit,
She
I
does her own
sometimes
thing.
fall into this, especially when I'm losing touch with somebody. It's like, let me just distance myself from you a little bit and recollect my thoughts.
Then it takes years to recollect your thoughts, and your thoughts never come back.
You know what it is, man? Like, sometimes you need some time alone.
That's true.
You do. And then you start to audit yourself and see, oh, okay, am I having more fun away from this person?
Yeah, do I enjoy life
Do
a
I
little bit
enjoy
more?
life more
Yeah,
without this person?
without this person on my
And
own.
it could be with friends too, because
Yeah.
you know these friendships start to kind of get stale as well.
The big thing is that a lot of people find, and I've heard this many times, that they lose themselves in someone. And it's very true that you can lose yourself in someone because, you know, love and you know, intensity of a relationship can lead to many things. And it becomes so intense that you do lose who you are. And when somebody all of a sudden gets time on their own or time to do their own thing, all of a sudden realizes, oh my God, I used to love doing these things. I no longer get to do them, or I no longer do them.
Yep.
Right?
That's why I'm a big believer in having your own thing too, man. Like you can't come to a relationship and then blend your shit together. Like there's no like then you lose
1000%.
touch of who each other
Who
are
you
because
are.
because here's the thing. The reason why you guys got together or your friends got together is because of those individualities and those
Yes.
characteristics that you like so much.
The number one thing is finding obviously your own person and who you are, who you're happy to be. Is a huge thing. And then you can combine that with somebody else, and you can be happy together. It doesn't work in a way where being with this person, she will make me happy,
Yes.
or he will make me happy if I'm. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. If you're not happy on your own, if you're not happy with yourself, believe me, you're probably not going to be happy with another person.
If you're subconsciously trying to do your own thing, set up situations so you're on your own doing other things, that might be a sign that you know the relationship's going sour.
Number three, you have an excuse or negative attachment towards your relationship or your partner. You know, if every descriptive thing you have of your partner is very negative, or you have, you know, just even your mannerisms, the way you address the person, watch your tonality, because all that stuff can either lead to resentment or can stem from resentment.
Or the famous one when you're the one at the family party and your significant other isn't because you're fighting and you're making excuses. Right?
Yeah,
That's another one
yeah,
too.
that's another one.
That's a huge one. And that
yeah,
happens all the time.
that
You
happens
go out
all
with your
the time.
friends. Oh, yeah, he doesn't want to go out
Yeah,
today. He's
yeah,
not feeling
yeah.
well.
She had her own family
had-
thing.
yeah,
her own
yeah.
family thing. Oh, really? Okay, well.
When that happens, I get it. Here and there, when you have an argument, that makes sense. But if it constantly happens,
If it's time, if it
there's
constantly happens,
toxicity there.
it's time to split it up.
Do you think two different personalities could coincide with each other?
I've seen it all the time.
Yeah?
I've seen it all the time work. You
I
know?
guess I guess it's the positioning of the people in the relationship where they respect each other on that individuality.
Of course.
They value that individuality.
Time of life.
Well, just for instance, a business relationship, you can't be in a business relationship with somebody who's exactly like you, or it doesn't work. It's just weird,
it doesn't
right?
work. No.
I mean, the reason our relationship worked out well because you have strengths that I don't,
And
I
vice
have strengths
versa.
you-
Yeah,
vice
exactly.
versa. So
Yes.
that's a great thing, and we have outside interests that we have similar. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So
Yes.
on a business level, we have different attributes and assets,
That we
but
bring
we
to
can
the
still hang
table.
out and party because we
Yeah.
like the same shit.
Yeah. You know, another thing, just to add to the toxicity levels, you know, when you're leaving your house every single day and you're already angry, that's not a good sign.
No.
It's not a good way to live your life. That is not normal. It may be normal for a lot of people to go around about that way, but when I say it's not normal, like it's just not a good state of life. Like
Yeah.
there's no way at all that is sustainable and that is longevity. The name of the game in life is longevity. So there's no way at all that that's gonna win in a long game.
By the way, I know couples who actually fight all the time, but they're still fucking passionate about each other. So
That's-
it's not
yeah.
it's not like, oh, if you start fighting all the time, you guys are not a
No.
good fit. It's just knowing each other, right?
No.
Some people are just very passionate and just fucking get at each other, and then they're
Yeah.
like, okay, cool, yeah.
And
that's
that's how they
over. Yeah,
express.
how
That's how they
express it.
express.
It's a weird dynamic, but I would rather have that than two people not talking to each other, just being monotone and not having any passion.
I agree.
You get what I mean?
I agree.
I'd rather have that. So
Number 4, the simple thought of that person is not enough to make you happy anymore. You know, when you first meet somebody and you can't stop thinking about them, you just want to spend all day with them and spend time with them and whatever it is, or get to know them, or get to know what they like. You do lose that over time, right? That honeymoon stage or whatever it is. But if even, you know, over time, that person should still kind of make you happy.
Yeah,
Somewhere, somehow they should. And if that doesn't happen anymore, then, well, you got to rethink things through,
yep,
right?
yep. I think that's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Number 5, you're always fighting or disagreeing, and not in the playful way that we were talking about, not in a, not in, as in, understand that we just mentioned a few minutes ago about the certain dynamics people have.
Yes, yeah.
I'm talking about that bitter resentment, fighting or disagreement, or an event that happened that you can't get over, and you keep bringing it up,
Yep.
or they
Stuck in
keep
the
bringing it
past,
up,
man.
stuck in the past.
You're bringing up other things as ammo.
Yes,
in the
exactly.
fighting.
And you're constantly bringing up other things where now it's no longer a problem you're speaking about, but you're making the person the problem.
Yep.
So, which means,
Yep. You're badgering, or you're breaking down their integrity character.
right? Just like
Which is
whenever
not fair.
whenever they speak, whenever they say when you're speaking to people, or you speak to a coworker or anything like that, you bring up the action or the habit that say may have not been a good one, but you're not saying that this person is necessarily a bad person.
Yeah.
But when you start knocking that person and saying, listen, you're this, you're that, and you start calling names, well, that's a whole different story, right? Because you're no longer looking for solutions. You're just looking for problems.
Yep. And you got to remember, there's a finite amount of the energy that you're allowed, or a person is going to allow you to take from them. It's like a bank account, right? So you have to be very wary of how many withdrawals of these things are happening, because that's exactly what you're doing. Every time you question their integrity, you question who they are, you're withdrawing that from that relationship, that bank account.
That's
right?
a very good way to put it.
It is, right? Because
Yeah,
every
it is.
time if I break you down mentally, you're withdrawing. I'm withdrawing that connection
Yes, of
slowly.
course, yeah.
slowly.
'Cause it's like,
slowly.
oh, well,
Yeah.
that's what you really think of me?
Yeah.
So every time
Yep.
you look and say, hey, what's up, brother? It's like, you don't really think of me like that.
That's essentially, if you think about it, that's essentially what
That's
we're
exactly
doing in
what
a
it is.
relationship. Oh, I'm going to do this for you. Okay, now, I have, you're depositing something in my bank account, and we have to give that back, right?
Yep.
So it has to kind of be equal. So that's exactly, like I always tell people, you have to audit that shit, man, because you can't be the one always taking from that relationship. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to be broke. That relationship's broken, right?
The next one is this one touches home to me a lot, very, very well, because I'm huge on this, and I try to speak to friends and colleagues about this all the time. If you're with a person, whether it be a friend, an intimate relationship, or what have you, you should every so often get together and talk about your future, your ideals for a future, your principles, and how you decide that you want to live life like that with them. Because essentially these people are going to be, this person is going to be walking life with you till at some point in time, and you should very well know what their ideal is.
Yeah.
Their ideal of way of living life, the way they see the future. Listen, if you have a person that is such a homebody that says, I don't ever want to leave my parents in here and whatever it is,
Yeah.
and you have another person that says, I want to go and trek the whole world, that's not going to work
It's not
for you
gonna work.
guys.
No, it's definitely not going to work.
If you have a budding entrepreneur that is flying around day in and day out, and there's a lot of people that there's relationships that break up because they did not speak about their future together.
Do you think two different future visions, people with two different future visions, could stick together?
Yes, of course, if they want to.
Right?
Of course they can.
I think the important part is coming to an agreement on how they're gonna be in each other's lives based on their individual goals.
Everything is about, you got to meet in the middle somewhere.
But I think,
I think the big word here
that
is
takes a lot of maturity, I think.
it does. And I think the biggest thing here, that in any relationship to work, the biggest thing is called compromise. So compromising means you have this ideal, I have this ideal. This is the way I am, this is the way you are, without crossing principles or crossing each other's principles, just kind of meet in the middle. That is a lot easier said than done. But for those of you who want to start making a relationship work, get together with your best friend, get together with your mother, get together with your significant other. Ask them, how do you see life with me in the next 5 years, in the next 10?
Virtually nobody does that.
Nobody does.
Nobody really does that.
I do.
Nobody really does
I
that.
do all the
because
time, and I tell people,
People who are forward thinkers do it.
Yeah.
Because we always think of and talk about the future
Yes.
and where we want to go.
I know exactly where I'm going to live in the next 3 years.
Yeah, but
Right?
not a lot of people, like the majority of the world, the people who are just living their lives
Yes.
the way they see fit.
Yes.
The day to day is the most important, and then like some ideals. Like there's no real clear vision. It's an ideal. Oh, we're gonna get there.
It's a dream. It's not a goal.
Yeah, it's a dream. Like we don't have an exact date when we
No,
want to do it.
it's a dream. It's not a
There's
goal.
no actual vision and action
Or
plan.
action plan,
Yeah, it's
or-
just like, oh yeah, I want to live here and that type of house. I don't know exactly where, but eventually I want to get there. Number 7, the biggest one.
The biggest one. It's, you know what? You can have any of these things. If you lack the desire to make it work, it's not going to work. If you expect it's the other person's role or job to say, I'm sorry, to be the bigger person, it's never going to fucking work.
Nope.
I'm sorry. It really isn't. Which means if you're always expecting them to apologize or to come forward and, you know what? Do this. After listening to this, take that number 6 that we just mentioned and go do it, because that shows that you have the desire to make it work, because you right away want to know what the future is going to be like. It's not an easy thing to do. It's a very scary thing to do because you're afraid of the answers that are going to come out. But if that is laid out on the table, then I guarantee your life together is going to be so much happier and easier.
And if you want to know what that looks like, remember the moment before you guys were going out or before you got together? When you would have done anything for that person, when you would have probably in a snowstorm picked that person up in Oakville or freaking Buffalo if they're stranded, like in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., and now you don't even want to fucking hang out with them, or it annoys you that you have to get them food or something. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have that same desire, regardless of everything that you've been through, especially the same thing with friendships. Yep. I remember if I can't call you at 2 a.m. and you. And I'm in trouble and you don't come, that friendship, you are not my like homie. You know what I mean? You're not my close friend. We all know that you're $100,000 going to be there for that person. If that's not what it is, and if you don't want to, it doesn't push you to be that type of person for somebody, then you shouldn't be in that relationship, that version of a relationship.
I agree. If you decide you are to, you don't necessarily need to end a relationship. You can also recategorize a relationship. Yeah, that's a huge one, right? Yeah. Like a business relationship gone sour can be just back to just friends, right?
Yeah. Like if we decide like, hey, listen, this is ruining our relationship. I value you as a friend way more. Let's decide to fucking
just be friends.
Business relationship.
Yeah.
But you're still my homie.
Yeah.
Or like same thing. If you're in a business relationship with your significant other, your spouse, and you're like, we have to end this business relationship, or we have to end this intimate relationship,
and just
because it's
just
affecting us as as business partners. Let's be friends. I've seen a lot of people that thrived after they did that. Their business and every other relationship got way better. So your ability to audit that is very important and recategorize it. Sometimes. It's not good to just quickly end a relationship, especially if the person is great and you guys are great together in a certain aspect. But if you have to recategorize it to make everybody's lives better, then you got to do it.
I've seen people become better friends too. Like say if they're your best friend who you were seeing all the time, you take some time apart and you kind of just see them seasonally or whatever. Then it actually works out better.
Birthdays, family parties, maybe.
Stuff like that, right?
Let's do that. Like we're good. Every quarter, let's hang out, right? Yeah.
And a big thing here, if you do decide to end a relationship, stick with your position. Stick with your decision. Rest assured that you did do everything you can to make it work. And if you decide it's not working, stick with it. Don't do this back and forth stuff.
In every relationship, whether it grows or fails, there's a lesson there.
Yeah.
There's a lesson that you could kind of take and internalize it for yourself and audit. Okay, how did I do in that relationship? Where did I fall short on? And how do I become better so I could improve my other relationships? Because at the end of the day, even if you only have 2 friends in your life, which is great, that's actually amazing. You don't need more than fucking 5 friends, I think, or 3 friends, on a like close proximity. Even if you let go of one of those, the other relationship should flourish because now you're working on the things that you fell short on over there. Because more than likely, you're going to fall short somewhat on your other relationships if that's a personal characteristic of yours. It's just that other relationships are more, flexible, I guess.
Yeah. Right? You're always learning and you're always getting better from every relationship. Whether
you're serving the relationship.
Yeah.
If you come into the relationship expecting, and this is I hate that shit when you're like, oh well, when you're so scared, right? You're so closed off, but you're coming in a relationship. Like, oh, you don't do this, and this. I need a person who's this, and this. I'm like, well, who the fuck are you? Right?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of person are you? If you're not displaying any of these characteristics, you have no right to
be asking. Yeah. And demanding.
And even if you do display any of these characteristics, why does it matter that you demand anything else from any other person? Because at the end of the day, if you display all these awesome characteristics, you don't need to demand people because they'll come to you.
If you follow our guidelines, honestly, you'll be a lot better equipped in your relationships, and you'll actually start to value the ones that you have, and you will cherish them. You will not be having this conversation with people, this ending a relationship, if you actually start to value your relationships.
And at the end of the day, when you do cut off these toxic relationships, your life is going to be so much better.
Oh, yeah.
And
You will notice that your life will significantly
Yeah.
take off.
and if you internalize everything, and like I used to, like if relationships went bad, I would be like, fuck, why, blah blah blah. You start to feel like once you know that you've done everything you can, you identified all these these things that are killing your relationship. At the end of the day, you could again rest assured that you did all you can, and that's it. And not everybody has to be together forever, right? And just like you in the beginning of that relationship, how awesome it is and amazing, and how it changed your life, you could honestly have another interaction like that with somebody else,
Yep,
right?
definitely.
So don't take it as a loss. Take it as an opportunity for other budding relationships that will
for
actually
growth.
value you.
Of course. Thank you for listening to us today. If you got any value of this, please share it with someone. Press like, or you can email us at
BTS@strengthenyou.com. That's Bobby Terry Sandy at strength hyphen the letter N hyphen the letter U.com. We'll answer any questions, comments. Let us know if you love us, hate us, or any topics you want us to cover. We'll be sure to do it. All right.
I'm Christian.
I'm Carlo. Thank you
Thank
for
you very
watching
much.
and listening.